seen me before, hello, my name is Jem. This is my channel Wheelsnoheels. It's dedicated to making videos all about my life with a disability, helping others feel less alone the way that I did when I was growing up. In the last video I talk about my friendships and how I struggled and how I coped, or didn't, but how I got through it and how everything's hunky-dory now. And in this video I wanted to sort of follow it up by kind of outlining things that I think make a good friend and make a bad friend. Because when I was growing up, I went to a very small all-girls school, and you sort of had to be friends with people, and you had to make an effort, and you had to try and get people to like you, otherwise there was nothing, there was nobody, and it was a very, very lonely time. And because I was used to people treating me so badly, I kind of just thought that's the norm and that's what people are like. But it's not what people are like, and you don't have to be treated badly. So when I got older, all of a sudden it kind of clicked in me, and I was like, hang on a minute, they're treating me the way that I was treated at school. I'm not at school anymore. I don't have to be friends with that particular person. There's many more people out there who are nice to me and who do treat me nicely the way that I like to think that I treat them. Through the years, like, there will be friends that get it, and then there will be friends that just don't get it. And I'm referring to disability, and I don't even think I need to sort of elaborate on that point so much, because I know all of you out there are probably thinking, you know exactly the same thing as I do. There are some people who are just amazing and aren't fazed by your disability, and if you want to go somewhere, they'll be like, we can make it work, and if it doesn't work, we'll go somewhere else. And they've just got that sort of X factor that I talk about actually in my video with Jessica about friendships, if you want to go and check that out. There's just like an X factor within them where they just get it. And some people, you'll meet them for the first time and they won't get it. But over time they get to know you, and it becomes easier for them. But then there are some people that just don't get it. And yeah, I've had this happen to me, and I've just been like, this is exhausting. Another thing that I have found to make not such a great friend is people that you find you're having to justify yourself to. Again, a bit sort of like getting it, basically. But when you're like, look, I'm really sorry, but I can't do that today because I don't have enough spoons. I just don't have the energy. It's going to finish me off for the rest of the week. What I do now impacts how I am for the rest of the week or the rest of a couple of days. And you know, if you're constantly justifying to people, oh, look, I can't do that because of this, but they just don't get it, or they get cross and angry at you, or just you're finding that you're making yourself put yourself out there, putting yourself at danger and hurting yourself to make them happy, that's not good. A true friend will care about you and should care about how it's going to impact on you, and they should say, okay, that's fine, maybe I'll come and pick you up, maybe we can change locations or the time of day, or let's just do it another day. So yeah, having to justify all the time is exhausting. Another thing that I have encountered is when friends suggest to go somewhere inaccessible. I've had this happen a couple of times, and that's fine, okay? People forget, or people don't realise. I get that, that's absolutely fine. But when they turn around and say, oh, okay, well, we're still gonna go. It's not nice. It's horrible, actually. Really horrible. Yeah, I've had that happen. Another thing that I've experienced is people making you feel really guilty because you can't go out and see them, you can't go to a specific place, you can't do a specific thing, and they put a guilt trip on you and that's not fun. And friends shouldn't make you feel guilty. I've also had friends that I have been too scared to ask help from, if that makes any sense. Hopefully you'll understand what I'm saying. All my friends now, I know that if I had a problem or anything was going to happen, or I needed my daughter being picked up from school, for example, or something like that, I could phone or text any of them and say, look, I'm in a bit of a mess, can you do whatever? And I wouldn't feel guilty about it, and I would be quite happy and comfortable in asking them. But I have had friends in the past that I just haven't felt that I can ask for help from them, if that makes any sense, because I just feel like they'd be like, do you know what I mean? Or feel like you're a bit of a burden, or like, oh. So I don't think that's very nice, you know. And it works both ways. I like to think that if any of my friends had any problems, I would help them, and I do. I've also had friends where I've been trying to talk to them about problems or issues or anything really in life, and like they just don't want to listen. They kind of like oh, yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'm not even talking about disability, I'm talking about like anything in general, when you're just trying to sort of like have a vent off about work or whatever, and they just like don't want to listen, and it's very sort of one-sided. I've also had friends who've just sort of made me feel like I'm a burden and a bit of a pain in the butt, and like, oh, like I don't want to feel like that, and I don't have, like, I'm sure I'm not a burden, and you're not a burden. And if someone wants to be your friend and is worthy of your time, and they will make an effort, and like if you are going somewhere that's not so accessible, or you just need help with stuff, they will help you. And yeah, you shouldn't be made to feel a burden, and if people are like that towards you, then I just don't understand why. But there are good people out there. The last point that I will make is people who make you feel more alone in their company than when you're actually alone. I've had this where I've had friends and I've been with them, and between them they've been talking about people I don't know, talking about the things that they got up together that I wasn't invited to. I was like, that's fine, but I'm here, I can hear what you're saying, and I didn't go because it wasn't accessible. Like, see each other another time and talk about other things, like talk about that when I'm not around. It's like, what are you trying to prove? It actually kind of proves that you're not really a good friend, and maybe you don't want to see me anymore. So I will just finish on what makes a good friend. And a good friend for me is somebody who is there for me, who I can confide in. It's easy to go out with them. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just recognise and move on, and recognise I have a disability, and just don't let that get in the way of any sort of friendship. And what I have found is that the people who tend to be like really good friends have experienced some sort of tragedy or some sort of disability within their life. And like, for example, one of my friends, her mum is a nurse, and I don't know what it is, but she's just amazing. When I go out with her, she'll just help me instinctively, ask if I need help, but does it in such a natural way that it's not awkward. And as I said, if friends don't quite get it, then teach them, and don't make it awkward. At the end of the day, just ask on both sides. We shouldn't be scared to ask, and people shouldn't be scared to ask us. And another thing that I think you should remember is that friends do come and go with different sort of chapters of your life. You know, when I was out partying, drinking and having a right good time, I don't really see those friends anymore. Like that was all kind of in the past, even though like nothing bad happened, you know, we just sort of like dissolved, and I'm sure they've moved on with their lives as well, but that was a great time. And then, you know, I had friends like before I had my daughter, and then they go off traveling around the world, or so that's something to bear in mind, that friends do come and go for various different reasons. I always think everything happens for a reason, and you learn and you grow from every experience. And sometimes you got to bear in mind that some friends come for a season and some friends come for a reason. So I hope you found this video useful. I hope it came across like the way I wanted to come across. Let me know about your experiences with your friends. I know some of you out there are at school and you're having problems as well, and I do try my best to try and help where I can, and I hope my previous video and this video have helped you. Thank you so much for watching. Thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and also do come over and say hello on Instagram and Twitter, and if you're feeling old school, Facebook. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one.